Cooking in video games is stupid. Like, conceptually, it makes no sense. The controls are never satisfying, button prompts and progress bars abstract away all of the creativity in exchange for rote task execution, and worst of all, you can't eat the food! How do you even begin to bridge the gap and invoke the same emotions across mediums that engage complete opposite senses? Boom. Game sent. What's so special about Overcooked 2 is its unparalleled ability to make your friends mad at each other when they're supposed to be working together. Like the first game, it demands cooperation in order to beat the food timers while throwing you into the most anti-collaboration kitchens of all time. It's kind of like a reverse Ultimate Chicken Horse. You know, in that game, you're working together to try to beat each other, whereas here, you're working against each other to try to win together. Why is everything on fucking fire, Louis? The confusing maps strategically separate ingredients from chopping stations and chopping stations from cooking stations, forcing you to run back and forth, bumping into each other, into guests falling off the map. But now, they have this sweet dash move and ability to throw, which gives you back some control and rewards players for good coordination. Overcooked is a satirical abstraction of the chaos of running a restaurant and of cooking with other people. It perfectly simulates that rush hour chaos in a fun and stress-free environment. And in every level, they change up the recipe or the layout or introduce some new challenge to keep players on their toes and keep the chaos up. So for most people, that's it. This game scratches the itch, and it's the only game that comes to mind when they think of cooking in video games. But not me. You see, back in high school, Louis and I used to work at a local pizza kitchen. And yes, rush hour was very chaotic and stressful, but outside of that time, when we were just making 1 or 2 pizzas every 10 minutes, hanging out, tossing pizza dough, it was low-key a chill as fuck job. And that exact feeling is something that is starkly missing from Overcooked. The constant influx of new content is precisely what makes Overcooked so great, but that's also its greatest weakness. It is very, very rare to get into a flow state in this game. What you're making is always changing and the level constantly throws new barriers in your way. You're never really given time to master a level. Rush hour is fun every once in a while, but without breaks, without time to develop a system or a plan, it's just noise. Watching over my footage, I can literally see myself starting to have a panic attack and just freeze in place and have a meltdown. I am completely overwhelmed with what to do, where to go, who's making what. I had a decent enough time working at that pizza kitchen job, but if it had just been go, 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 rush hour all the time, constantly printing tickets, I would have gone insane. Overcooked is a fun, chaotic party game, and it cleverly solves the inherent cooking game problem by replicating the feeling of chaos in a kitchen instead of being a highly accurate cooking simulation. They don't even bother trying to address the sensory issue by making the food look good visually or something, and that's what made this game so successful. But this does not fully capture the entire cooking experience. And this, ladies and gentlemen, has been my curse for the past 3 months. I searched everywhere for a game that could scratch that itch. And eventually, I rediscovered a classic game on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. But first, I have an announcement to make. I am making a video game. I don't want to show y'all anything right now since it's still in the early stages and I'm saving that for my next video, but in my attempt to learn programming for it, the sponsor of this video, BootDev, has been a huge help. BootDev is an online programming teacher that helps you learn back-end development using an RPG system that rewards you like a game. They teach you how to code using actual projects in Python, Go, and if your antivirus was not powerful enough to block the mandatory Windows 11 update last month, then they've got you covered with a full course on Linux as well. The folks at Boot.dev believe that bored learners quit and smart learners never get bored, which is why they make sure you're actually writing code and shipping projects as soon as possible. I use Godot for game development, and they have like their own special scripting language called GDScript, but it's very, very similar to Python, and I was able to actually apply some of the concepts that I learned on Boot.dev to my own game. Like, for example, object-oriented programming, aka how to write clean and maintainable code. My friends were very happy to see me learn this finally. Click the link in the description and use my code TheStellarJay to get 25% off your entire first year on the annual plan. And thanks again to Boot.dev for sponsoring this video. In Papa's Pizzeria, an evil, corrupt billionaire buys out all of these small businesses, understaffs them with minimum wage employees, and forces them to run his business. Average Tuesday under capitalism. That woman is playing on a Nintendo DS. Jesus Christ, these games are old. And once I got into it a little bit, boom, I am right there, right back in 5th grade, Miss Long Henry's class, hiding my Papa's Pizzeria run on my second window during a computer lab. It's a fine, chill cooking game on its own with a meddling time management metagame, but time did not stand still for the cooking game genre. The Papa's games have not aged well at all, and the deluxe versions on Steam are nice, but for a 15-year gap between release and now, as well as a $16 price tag, I don't know, guys. It's a real shame if you think about it, because with all the nostalgia these guys have built up in our childhoods, think about what they could have done with an actual sequel or a proper remaster. Just think about how far Bloons Tower Defense has come in that time. The cosmetics are still useless, there's hardly any upgrades to be earned for your kitchen, all the customers are named and have specific orders, but you have no way of predicting who will come in on a certain day. It would have been nice to see some more automation options, and also, by the way, random thought just now, are all cooking games just factory games with a food theme? I'm gonna move on and pretend I didn't have that thought. Papa also forces his workers to pay money out of their own pocket for upgrades to his stores, which cannot be legal. And in Papa's wing area, he surprises Mandy with a free ticket to Starlight City, where he then tricks her into taking over his restaurant. That is just straight up blatant human trafficking. If you're really reminiscent for this type of gameplay, I gotta recommend Galaxy Burger. If your burger order looks anything like this, then there is something inherently wrong with you. The influence from the Papa's games is very apparent, but the quality of life is so much better. There's no more flipping through these different windows that take forever to transition. Everything is just boom, right there. There's some actual complexity to the orders, and it doesn't take 7 years to write them down. There's a lot more playing the game and less waiting for it to play itself. This feels like an actual sequel to the Papa's Pizzeria and Freezeria games, while this is stuck in 2007. But what I liked most about it is how relaxing these games can be. There are no timers, no penalties for making customers wait. If you get an order wrong, you can just remake it. This got me thinking a lot about the mindset that I'm in when I actually cook in real life. For me, cooking is like meditation. I leave my phone in another room and I just focus on the menial task of chopping ingredients and sauteing chicken or whatever it is I'm making. I get a lot of thinking done in that time. That's where I came up with this. Don't know what it is, but I thought it. And there's something about occupying my hands that just opens the floodgates and gets me in a thinking mood. And that was happening while I was playing this game. This is what was missing from Overcooked. The peaceful, relaxing moments where you can just shoot the shit with your boys and get some good thinking done while engaging your brain in a menial task. But then I realized that I'm just back to my original problem. These games don't offer any abstraction on the actual cooking experience, so I might as well just go cook in real life and then I'll be able to think anyways, and I'll get to actually eat the food. But nonetheless, they illustrate my point. Even if it's not in a restaurant, cooking fundamentally requires both intense concentration and precise timing, as well as calm, relaxing prep time. And this is my problem with so many cooking games. Almost all of them hyper-specialize in just one of these aspects. Get out of the way! Fruitbus does not have that problem. What's so deceptive about Fruitbus is how it's actually not a cooking game at all. It's actually a detective mystery game where instead of crime scenes and blood, you find villages and mangoes. Instead of suspects, you have tourists and villagers, and it's your job to connect the dots. This guy is tired of his janitor job. This lighthouse keeper hasn't seen his friend for a while. The mechanic heard a rumor about a truck speed upgrade, and maybe if you make his favorite smoothie for him, it'll jog his memory a bit. But what is this? What's that? I've never seen this fruit before. So then you gotta do the field work, you gotta explore around, you gotta ask people where to find it, and eventually uncover the evidence of this jungle shrine that spawns pineapples. Like Galaxy Burger, Fruitbus does not have any timers or quotas or rush hour. You just pull up to a spot you want to sell and you open up the shop. If you don't have the right ingredients, you can literally just leave and go grab them at any time or fall back to a different order or just straight up close the shop in the customer's face. You want a gasoline smoothie? That's really weird, guys. See you later. The player character is on a quest to reunite all of his grandma's friends for one last big feast in her honor, and he carries around her ashes in the passenger seat, which seems wrong. There's this really beautiful theme about food bringing everyone together, and you, the player, quite literally bring people together with your food. That's how you progress the game and make money. It's a very succinct relationship between story and gameplay that many games fumble. Think about real quick how many boring and soulless ways there are to chop an apple. Cooking Simulator is on screen. Now look over here. Oh, and then you blend a smoothie and it goes, the sound effects. Oh, the background music disappears when you go through a tunnel. Chili peppers make this funny animation. It's this charm and attention to detail that makes this game so special, which is why the random nosedives in quality and care stand out as much as they're due. Stop, does your gluttony have no end? The game is horribly optimized. There's several pervasive bugs that regularly occur, and worst of all, the lack of polish when it comes to the maps. The first island feels pretty close to perfection. Everything's like a good distance apart, and then you go to the second island, and where the fuck did everything go? The openness and size of some of the subsequent areas exacerbates a lot of the underlying issues with this game's core philosophies. Like how you have to explore the island for certain ingredients, which is really fun and awesome, but that necessitates that you limit where those ingredients spawn, which means, oh shit, now I have to come back to this very specific spot every single time I need chili peppers, or here for when I need bread flour, and they're not gonna show up anywhere else. It creates a lot of backtracking and padding in a game that should have been short and sweet. It would have been really nice to have like a planter or a delivery service that can give me a limited amount of those hard to get ingredients every once in a while. But despite those issues, I can still definitely recommend Fruitbus. It's kind of like a reverse Overcooked in the way that it doesn't really have many high intensity moments, so it doesn't really fully scratch my cooking game itch, but it has a much more engaging gameplay loop than the games on the chill end of the spectrum. TheStellarJay, why is there a demonic chicken on my screen? Excellent question, my friend. Got him. Omelet You Cook is Balatro meets Papa's Pizzeria, and it's really, really good. You score points by fitting ingredients onto an omelet, and you have to build up crazy combos to beat the required score. Some ingredients will score you points, while others will amplify your effects. It's like if every single card in Balatro were its own Joker type. Every ingredient has like 5 different categories that it falls into, and some of them like to be paired with other types for extra bonuses. Mold will spread throughout your vegetables. You have to bat away these forks trying to steal your stuff. And you literally have to shake the fire off the spicy chili peppers. There is a shocking amount of game and depth here for an early access title. It has all the satisfaction and strategy of Balatro while being way more interactive and engaging. Before the full release, I really hope they added more types of guests and more bosses. I found this game like literally 2 days before uploading this video, so I can't really talk about it too much. It's kind of just my first impressions, but damn, I am addicted to this game. If the developers ever put this on mobile, they will easily make $1 billion, and my life will be ruined. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. A cooking game that balances chill and engaging gameplay? Cooking Mama is the GOAT, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I have not been keeping up with the Cooking Mama lore. I knew I was making this video, so I tried to just buy whatever the newest Cooking Mama game was, and I found this one for the Switch, but it turns out there was a major legal dispute and smear campaign that led to the complete removal of Cooking Mama Cookstar from the eStore. Okay, so apparently Cooking Mama is owned by a company called Office Create, and for Cooking Mama Cookstar, they contracted out the development to Planet Entertainment, who you might know from the Bass Pro Shop fishing games. This is real. A few months before launch, Office Create checks in on the progress of the game to discover that, oh my god, it's horrible, which, you know, maybe don't hire the Bass Pro Shop scam arcade game guys. So Office Create asks Planet Entertainment to fix the problems with the game and redo a big chunk of it. And that would have been the end of it until in a baller fucking move, Planet Entertainment goes rogue and publishes the game without permission from the IP holder. They just released it anyways. What? Obviously that was insane and they got sued within a week. Like what was the plan there? Did they think they would get away with that? Apparently they did, because 10 months into the legal battle, they released it on PS4 too, mid-lawsuit. And they fucking won! I'm kidding. It was removed from all stores for everyone except for me because I live in Japan, which is a cheat code for buying literally any video game that has ever existed. This is an SNES for $20. What the fuck? It's just lazily remade minigames from the Wii version of Cooking Mama. And after losing the IP, they actually wound up remaking it into Yum Yum Cookstar.
Only one word I can use to describe this. Amazeballs!
Which I will not be dignifying with a review. The Cooking Mama series falls into a trap that I like to call the simulator curse. You see, with most simulator type games, you're simulating something that you cannot feasibly do in real life, like flying a plane or owning a house in America. But cooking, I mean, you can kind of just go do that. And most of the time, you can actually get paid to do that. So, is that it? Is there no cooking game that fully harnesses the immense responsibility of both calm, chill prep time and high-octane rush hours? Is my dream of reliving the glory days of my minimum wage pizza chef job dead forever? Every time I show Plate Up to someone, their first words are always, oh, it's like Overcooked, but it's not. It's not like Overcooked. You see, Overcooked is a game about dealing with chaos. No matter what level it is, the player is never given any way to fight back against the absurdity of their circumstances. You're just forced to roll with it. It's like diners, drive-ins, and dives. Every episode, you have no idea what you're gonna walk into, but you know that Guy Fieri is gonna rock your world with some crazy new restaurant and those sweet baby brown eyes. Plate Up is more like Hell's Kitchen.
Why have you put the bacon inside the dory? I can't even turn around and look at the dining room. I'm so fucking embarrassed. We haven't sent an entree.
Unlike Overcooked, Plate Up is a game about managing and minimizing chaos. You have almost complete control over your restaurant layout. You can move literally anything except for the walls and doors. Customers will file in, wait to be seated, and then order from a menu before eating and leaving their dirty dishes.
Absolutely no pressure, but we did close 30 minutes.
Every day brings more customers, added challenges, and more complex dishes, and you have to figure out how to most effectively serve all of them while upgrading and iterating on your restaurant design. There's 4 different types of stoves, 5 types of tables, 3 types of dumbass teammates. Do we want the soaking sink, which cleans plates automatically, or do we want the wash basin, which can wash 4 at a time? The freezer lets you hold on to food for the next day, but is it worth spending 2 whole days upgrading a counter just to get it? And on the other hand, the more useful things you try to cram into your kitchen, the more awkward and potentially time-consuming you risk making it. There's this really fine balancing act that can cause you to spend literally hours getting everything just right. You can get discount cabinets, robots that buff the floor, conveyors, automatic mixers, and grabbers. And oh my god, it's a factory game. But the real evil part is that if even just one customer runs out of patience, even just one time, you lose the entire restaurant forever. There is 0 time to be frozen and in confusion. You have to be so in the zone to play this game, which is one of the reasons that makes it so much fun to watch back. I always get so insanely hyper-focused on whatever I'm doing that I am completely oblivious to what's going on elsewhere in the kitchen. And replaying the footage is like a funny highlight reel. It can be so goddamn soul-crushing to get a run right up to the finish line and then just barely lose on the last few customers. But eventually, you unlock new foods to prepare, you get new maps, you'll figure out how to abuse the upgrade system for the best items, and eventually, every piece of plate up falls into place. Anyways, multiplayer. Here's what I've noticed. If you're having a party and you boot up a local party game, odds are that most people have not played it before. They probably don't even play video games that much in the first place. You want a quick 2-step way to get everyone to leave your house? Step 1, put on speedrunners. Step 2, congratulations, you're alone. They need a really low bar for entry. And I find that it is much, much easier to get people into this game than Overcooked. You can just sit the new people down in one position, make sure their diapers are changed, get them a juice box every once in a while, and they can just manage that for a little bit while I get up to speed. There are very few games that feel as good to play with a group as Plate Up. Every single player has to become a perfectly oiled cog in the machine that is your restaurant. Even the diaper babies on dish duty become so incredibly crucial. No player is left out, no player can take too much control, and those moments where someone clutches the out of a shitty situation for the team is pure bliss. And so is the 10 minutes of calm ideation and philosophical debate that comes between the rounds while building the restaurant. This is what I've been looking for. Put this in there, which is this is shit because whenever I have too many what makes a perfect cooking game? A game that can fully and completely capture the entire cooking experience. It's in those moments of pure flow state where everyone is executing their job perfectly and getting customers in and out like a metronome. It's in those split-second time saves and the juggling of multiple jobs, the yelling of orders and the wave of relief after the last order. But it's also in the ideation, in the planning, in the trial and error, the prep work, the focus and calm that menial actions can bring. This is the closest thing to a perfect cooking game that the world has ever seen. Until I finish mine. See ya! Thank you patrons, especially Damel, Sam Jackson, Mia Medic, 123, Sky Army 123, Alien Fruit Games, Wombat Combat, and Linguetti Spaghetti.